So in these videos, I'm going through some of the main functions of Tableau Prep. You might think now, oh no, another software, why should I learn this? Well, first of all, Tableau Prep is really easy to learn, and it does something that you have to do anyways, which is data preparation. When you're out in the web and you're searching for secondary data and you're downloading data sets, most of the time, these will not be in the format that you require them to be. Every statistics software, and Tableau as well, requires its data to be structured in a certain form. I want to show you this problem with a dataset, which is called the Worldwide Governance Indicators. It is a dataset on 6 dimensions of governance including things such as control of corruption, the rule of law, political stability, and so on. It is available for over 200 countries and territories of the period 1996 to 2018, although the first periods were only in 2-year time intervals. You can download this dataset by clicking here on Download Full Dataset for the Excel version. And when you open it, what you see already is that this is weird here. We have text in our dataset. A statistic program would not be able to read this clearly. So you would have to delete this whole introduction page. But there's also important information on it, so maybe you want to keep it and focus on your data. The data in this case is actually contained in Excel tabs. Again, this is something that is not very easy for a statistic program to understand because simply that program is not Excel, and so it's not really using Excel tabs. Probably if we wanted to have several indicators here in our dataset, let's say data on voice and accountability and regulatory quality, we would have to get the data out of these Excel tabs into a new Excel file, merge them together, which is some added work. Let's take a look at the top here in this dataset. Here we again have some metadata, some descriptions of what is in the data. Again, very important that you read this, but a statistic program would not want this, so you would probably delete all of these things if you would import this. Now we see here that there's a legend. The legend tells you what the values mean, and we see that we have several values per year, which is strange because you would say, okay, if they measure governance in one dimension, we would just find one type of value per year, but clearly we have 6. Now here is a legend, and it tells you that only the estimate is really what they have estimated the quality of governance to be. They also give you a standard error around this estimate. They give you the number of sources that their estimate relies on. They express the estimate in a ranking relative to other countries, and they give you some lower and upper bounds of a confidence interval. This already makes everything somewhat complicated, because let's say you have all of this data, but really you're just interested in control of corruption, and you just want the 2018 estimate. But you're not too sure. Maybe you want something else and you want to change your choice in the future, so you don't just want to copy-paste this out of this document. This is where Tableau Prep comes in, but obviously it comes in from many more things. Let's take the dataset that we've downloaded and simply drag it into our Tableau workspace, into our Tableau Prep workspace. On the left-hand side, you can see that there's a connection to a Microsoft Excel file, which is the dataset. And here you see that it has correctly labeled all of our Excel tabs. It has recognized that there is data in them. So let's say, okay, we wanted to do something with control of corruption. Let's take control of corruption and drag and drop it into this big field. Okay, what happens up here, you see what you've just dragged and dropped, and down here you see a preview window, kind of a preview window. On the right side, the field name is actually the variable names. And we see here that there is something wrong. We have these F1, F2, blah, 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 and here we have sample values, which are actually the variable name. So there's something wrong. Tableau Prep comes with this data interpreter, which is an automatic algorithm which tries to figure out what is happening in this data set. And you remember all of this is happening, and this is not so good. So if we click this data interpreter, Tableau Prep will automatically analyze your data file. And as you can see right now, it has changed the field names actually to corresponding to the variables that we see right here, right? It has even recognized that when we have the estimate here and above we have 1996, that this is actually part of your first variable, that it is 1996 estimate. So let's say we wanted to look at the data in some more detail. We click this plus, and on the plus we click add step. That's what you do all the time. I don't really have to explain this right now. You will find out by using the program. In this added step, you see some more information. On the bottom, you see a preview of your data set. You can scroll through it. And on the top, you see all of your variables, and they come as, especially obviously the continuous ones, they come with a little histogram so that you can see what is in your variables. So in the 1996 estimate, we see that there are some null values, which are missing values, okay? And we can even, by clicking them, identify where these are located in terms of the countries and how this relates to the other variables. So that's quite cool. We can also click let's say the maximum values here in the outer edge of the histogram, and this will just display down here these maximum values. Okay, but this is just for data exploration. Let's say we now wanted the estimate for 2018. So let's find it. Should be to the right. And there we have the 2018 estimate. If we click this estimate, we could say keep only field. And this would now delete everything except the estimate. However, we also want to keep the country names and the country identifier. So we go back to the beginning. We hold Control, click Code, and click the country identifier, and click Keep Only Fields. Only those fields are kept in the dataset. And here you see the outcome. And we now have a country territory with a code, and we have the 2008 estimate for control of corruption, which you can rename here and say control corruption _ 2018, hit enter, and there is your data. Now, let's say you want to export this. For exporting, you can use the add output function. So you click add output, and here you can click browse and navigate to a location where you want to save the file. And here you click on output type on the comma separated value file, because this is what you can also use later on in Gradle or any other statistics program. So if we run this, you can see the output of the file, and we now have our control of corruption, only 2018 for all of the countries, none of the other stuff. So everything is out there. This is just, as I said, the basis for using Tableau Prep, and it can do much more, and you will learn about this in the next videos.